Alex, we're back.
Hello.
I should probably turn my fan off, though. That's probably annoying. Alex, you know what I'm looking at right now?
31 Thoughts.
No, actually. I'm going to turn my camera. It's my dog just
Your dog.
sitting right in the way. How comfy does she look?
Very comfy.
Oh, what a good dog Carrie is. Little golden lap. Anyway, Alex, we're here back. 2-in-1 podcast. It's a hockey podcast. Haven't said that in a while. There's not a lot to talk about when it comes to on the ice. It's more the drama to do off the ice and what has now become a global pandemic and the coronavirus.
Yep, officially a pandemic this morning by the World Health Organization.
What do they know?
I don't know. Stuff.
Cheeky. But hey, we're going to talk about that a lot later. It came from the Sharks, and then today everything has just gone wrong. But I guess we'll start off the show with sending our congratulations to our good friend, technically a co-host, kind of not, Daniel, who officially got a summer internship at TSN.
Yeah.
Gonna give him a round of applause. Seriously, Daniel, if you're listening to today's episode, of course, in our little group chat, we already talked about him. But here, I want to say congratulations to him. And like I never shut up about, if there are some certain things in your life, it's the death, it's taxes, our mom's listening to the podcast, Daniel being late, and me talking about how he's going to be big because he's never here. And Nathan. Yeah. But yeah, seriously, congrats,
yeah.
Daniel.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I love him. Come on the show, though.
Yeah, soon.
He said Sunday was actually pretty good for him, right?
That's what he said, but we'll see. He's probably got something planned.
No, he's probably going to go interview a Nobel Peace Prize winner or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Alex, I want to give you some time to brag because the Flyers, unfortunately, they lost their last game. Their 9-game win streak snapped. But anyway, talk to me about Alain Vigneault.
Do you know where they currently sit in the standings?
I believe, without looking, they are either tied for first or second in the Metro, right?
They are second in the Metro, 1 point behind Washington.
How many games played?
Both of them have 69 games played.
Nice.
This team, at the beginning of the year, we did our playoff predictions, right? And I think I had them in a wild card spot. I definitely didn't have them in a divisional spot. Mm-hmm. And I said Alain Vigneault is going to win the Jack Adams Trophy if they make the playoffs. And what did they do?
They're probably in the playoffs.
They're going to make the playoffs. They're going to make the playoffs. Can you name me other coaches who deserve the Jack Adams Award?
John Tortorella?
If they make the playoffs, maybe.
Yeah, I'm looking around. I think, of course, you got to give some credit to Bruce Cassidy, who, of course, the Bruins are already at 90
Yeah,
points.
but you don't get a Jack Adams Trophy for coaching a good team. We know that.
I mean, beside that, I'm looking at the Central teams. Of course, they are where you expect they are. The Predators don't deserve any sort of credit. I would probably say, is it Dave Tippett in Edmonton? I think deserves a really, really good applause there. And Travis Green if the Canucks make it. Those would be my three. Probably Vigneault, Tippett, and Travis Green.
Yeah, but Edmonton has the two of the top 5 centermen in hockey right now.
Yes, but that's only... But at the same time, that was an argument for how the hell are they this bad last year when they had 200-point players.
Right.
And I mean, the defensive game that they...
You know what? You make a good point, but I still like Alain Vigneault better.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I don't mean to take away from Alain Vigneault because I think I had the Flyers making it in the 3rd divisional spot just because I thought the rest of the Metro would be complete garbage. And I, like a lot of other people, thought the Atlantic was going to be a juggernaut. Oh, boy. But
how wrong we were.
Oh, of course. And it's amazing at the same time what happens when you finally get a half decent goaltender.
Right. Imagine. Just imagine having a good goaltender.
And as Aline Vigneault has actually said in the past, show me, if I have a better goaltender than you, I win. If you have a better goaltender than me, you win.
Yeah. I mean, look, who got fired this year? Okay. Babcock, Peters, Jim Montgomery were fired for other reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Gerard Gallant.
Oh, yeah. Fair. Because
goaltending.
Yes, and because Pete DeBoer was available.
True. Who else got fired?
Peter Laviolette, John Hines.
Goaltending.
Let's see, if we go, let's just go to the Blues didn't get fired. Bednar's still around. Yeah, as you say, Rick Bowness replaced Jim Montgomery. Laviolette got canned. Bruce Boudreau we forgot about. I'm looking.
Goaltend. Well, Bruce Boudreau, I still don't understand why he was fired, but
yeah, I don't understand that either. Beside that, we mentioned Babcock.
But that was other reasons.
Of course, Trotz is still around. Who is... if I can go to every single team, I can name you every coach except... Is it David Quinn? In the New York Rangers head coach.
Yeah, Dave Quinn.
Okay, yeah, never mind. So I think it's all those guys we mentioned, yeah. That have been fired.
I'm just saying.
No, yeah, I think Vigneault definitely deserves a finalist, in my opinion. I think I'm going to take a side of Tippett here, but I feel like definitely the two people we are selecting in Vigneault and Tippett are going to be, or should be at least, two of the finalists.
For sure.
But I think we can both agree, though, Bruce Cassidy should probably win it, but at the same time, oh my God, you're actually a good coach of a good team. That doesn't count.
Yeah, but did John Cooper win it last year?
I don't actually know. Did he?
I don't believe so. So if John Cooper couldn't win it last year and arguably had a better team, would have a better record, Bruce Cassidy does not win it.
No. Okay, so let me ask you this.
Was it Barry Trotz?
It was. I was going to ask you, who was a team last year that you thought was going to be bad and overachieved?
Barry Trotz.
Barry Trotz. By the way, the Islanders?
Not in a playoff spot.
Not in the playoffs. So of course, they have games in hand over the Blue Jackets, but the Columbus...
You might just be right on the New York Islanders.
I think... but I don't think I'm going to deserve the win. It feels like... I don't know what's quite going on with the Islanders. But, I mean, they still have a chance. They were very lucky to get a point last night against the Canucks. The Canucks also have been in a bit of a slide. Massive shootout winner last night. They have the games in hand over Columbus, but it's going to be tight. It's not as tight as the whole Pacific Division in the West, but the wild card race in the East with those Metro teams, it's real.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. And Florida, just because why the hell not?
Because because no one wants third in the Atlantic.
No one wants third in the Atlantic.
Speaking of the Atlantic Division, Mikhail Sergachev in the game, Leafs Tampa last night. I was watching a bit of the first period, and I believe it was Austin Matthews taking a one-timer. Mikhail Sergachev takes the puck, I believe it was right off the side of his head, like his ear?
Yeah, side of his head.
This is what's really interesting, Alex. So I was at I was at a Habs game. It was the Boston Bruins. Phil Deneau took his Zdeno Chara slap shot to his ear as well.
Okay.
He ends up getting a concussion. He was taken off the ice. I don't remember if it was a stretcher or not, but it was so bad that they actually ended the period a little earlier and let the guys go there. It was that brutal. So when I saw Mikhail Sergachev take this shot last night, I just had flashbacks to that. Now, Zdeno Chara is a much harder shot, but at the same time, Sergachev was on the ice very quickly. You saw him smack the ice a few times, and he didn't even go into concussion protocol.
And you know what? That's not even the only thing that concerns me. Is fine, maybe he didn't get hit in the ear, but I look at what happened with Brian Little.
Yes.
And he has not touched NHL ice since he got hit with a shot in the ear. No. He has not touched NHL ice.
I don't know if you can see it, Alex, but we're on Skype video. There's actually a bit of my right ear missing from when I was a kid. Me and my brother were wrestling, and I fell off. We were wrestling on the bed, so I fell off. I may have been 5, 6, or at the time, and I cut it off the side of a cabinet. Right, that's only falling and cutting my ear, and that was like the pain from that was immeasurable. Now imagine Austin Matthews is taking a one-timer, and that shot hits you in the head.
Right. I saw someone on Twitter talking about, well, his head didn't snap back. Like, like whiplash kind of.
Yes.
So it didn't seem that concerning. But man, you just got hit. I get you're wearing a helmet and it's somewhat protective, but how fast do you think that shot was going? I
would say between at least 90, right? At least 90.
Right. Imagine getting hit in the head with a puck. Like we were talking last week, I showed you the picture, or on Sunday, I showed you the picture of what that girl, the UFC fighter, looked like after the fight, and that's just getting punched with your fist.
Yes, yeah. I think we made the observation that she looked like chewed up bubblegum after that fight. Imagine
getting hit in the side of the head at 90 kilometers an hour with a puck, even with protective helmet. That hurts.
I'm cringing thinking about it.
The fact that they didn't, like, what's the point of the concussion spotters being there?
Apparently, I thought it was to test players who are probably going to have a concussion.
This isn't the first problem, though. This isn't the first problem we've had with it. Brad Marchand had a problem with it because they took him out 20 minutes later, or they took him out after the intermission.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, again, the things that the safety component of the NHL, whether it be the Department of Player Safety, whether it be the concussion spotters, whether it be the referees, are not on the same page.
No.
They're not on the same page as the way hockey is visibly moving. So I don't care. Like, it just seems ridiculous. Okay, do you care about the player's safety or do you not care about the player's safety? Make a decision, because if you don't care about the player's safety, I'll go watch something else, man. Like, I'm not in it for watching players getting mauled with pucks, with getting head hits. I'm not in it for that at all.
No.
So it just seems ridiculous that no one's on the same page.
But at the same time, it's ridiculous, but it's not surprising.
No, it's not surprising. That's the worst part. That's probably the worst part about it. It's not bad. You know what? It's bad that they didn't take him out of the game, but it's even worse that when he didn't get taken out of the game, I wasn't even surprised.
No.
That's awful. Like, you getting hit in the head.
I mean, going to some brighter news here, as I'm trying to get this exact table up here when it comes to coaches, Paul Maurice, who has just been around forever, and is still, if you really look at it, he's one of the more younger coaches in the league.
How old is he?
See, you remember how
53.
53 years old.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like Jeremy Colleton, I think, is 34, 36, but Paul Maurice is still, by a coach's standard, he's not that old.
No, really not.
And tonight,
he's got his years ahead.
No, and this is from Rick Ralph on Twitter, Rick Ralph TSN. NHL Jets Paul Maurice, head coach, will coach his 1600th NHL game tonight when the team plays at Edmonton. The fifth coach to reach this mark, of course, Scotty Bowman is up there, Joe Quenneville, Barry Trotz, and, of course, Al Arbour. That is some good-ass company.
Man, that guy's been through it all. And you know what the worst part is? He's, up until a couple years ago, he's never had decent goalies.
No.
And I really don't want to turn it around and make it about the Leafs, but I'm going to do it anyways because I couldn't care less. When he was in Toronto, do you know who he had to choose between?
Does one of their names begin with a T?
Yes.
So what, Toskala and whoever else was there?
And Andrew Raycroft.
My.
You know how bad that is?
Considering the only thing of Vesa Toskala I really know are how bad he was, those classic like center ice goals and that, it's pretty tough. And how frustrating is it now that he has a great offense, a fantastic goaltender, but his best defenseman bailed on him.
Yeah, man, that absolutely sucks. But I think I'm telling you, I think the Jets are going to make some moves this summer.
You think?
I think so. I think they have a few moves up in their sleeves.
And by that you mean Patrick Laine for Carl Alsner?
Absolutely not. Not even close.
It would be a brutal trade, wouldn't it?
That would be the worst trade in NHL history.
You know what's a pretty brutal trade as well?
Tell me.
July 18th, 2016. The Ottawa Senators trade a certain forward and the 2018 second rounder to the Rangers in exchange for Derek Brassard and the 2018 seventh rounder. Now, this player last year had 74 points, 30 goals in 82 games played. This year, in 56 games played, he's now reached his total from last year, 74 points, again, in only 56 games played, and also scored his 40th goal. Mika Zibanejad.
Mika Zibanejad.
A DJ.
A DJ in Sweden.
I forgot he was a 6th overall pick. And he's finally reaching that potential. I mean, a lot of this, I think we do need to give credit to Mr. Artemi Panarin, but at the same time, 40 freaking goals, including that massive, godlike 5-goal game the other day. My dear God.
I mean, and you know what the best part is? He's 26 years old.
That's... I like that. I like that. The Rangers, man, they're that rebuild, if you can call it that, that worked out well.
He is having a quiet season.
Oh, yeah, no one is talking about it. Not at all. And if I can just... And he only makes... he'll make $5.3 million for 2 seasons after this.
Wow. It's funny because he's playing on a line with Panarin and I believe Pavel Buchnevich. And that line has, for them, seems to be working.
I'm looking at Pavel Buchnevich. I can see this year, surprisingly enough, is his career year, 45 points.
Hey, when you're playing with 2 elite players, you're going to put up career numbers.
Oh, yeah. And credit to Buchnevich because, like, it takes a certain type of player. Because, I mean, we talk about Zach Kassian, 20 goals from McDavid. We talk about Zach Hyman, even though he's come into his own. I mean,
and Alex Chiasson.
Alex Chiasson, 1 heater last year on with McDavid, and that ends up scoring 20 goals. I mean, hey, I'm happy. I'm happy for Pavel Buchnevich because that's a guy Rangers fans have been really, really high on for a couple of years, and that's going back to when, back from when Alain Vigneault was the coach there. They were screaming for that young man to get more ice time, and hey, Mr. Quinn has done just that. We're talking about a team that has a bright future, Alex. Let's talk to one that they will probably have a bright one as well, but for now, they are in the deepest, darkest place in NHL.
Yeah, would you like to know my fact about the Detroit Red Wings?
Give me a fast fact, Jenna.
Fast fact. This was from last night. So last night, the Detroit Red Wings played the Carolina Hurricanes and lost 5-2.
Big win for the Hurricanes.
With that loss, the Detroit Red Wings have secured last place in the NHL.
What an accomplishment.
With 11 games left, they have 39 points, so they can only top out at 61. Ottawa and LA both have 62.
So, At least they have now guaranteed themselves the best percentage to get Alexis, sorry. So that's something you can be happy about. Anthony Mantha sounds like he wants to stay. So
yeah, that's good. We really haven't heard much about that, right? I feel like it's such a Steve Yzerman thing. I feel like we haven't heard a single thing come out of Detroit this year. Mm-hmm. The only thing I've heard come out of Detroit was there was talks about Andreas Athanasiou being traded, and he was traded.
Exactly. The part about Anthony Mantha wasn't 31 Thoughts, which Friedman was so selfish as to release about a few minutes before we could record. That cheeky bastard. But oh my god. Do you ever just go on Twitter to see if there's anything going on and you see people still complaining about the Raptors and how they shouldn't have won last year?
I am going to compare the Raptors to the Leafs today. And I don't think people are going to be too happy about that.
Is that going to come later on when...
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. So this morning I was kind of scrolling through YouTube looking at things that I want to watch. And I end up watching this 10-minute Tim and Sid video. And it's a long video, so you'd expect Sid to be yelling or complaining. But it wasn't. It was Tim. He was very passionate. And I feel like you don't see that a whole lot. So when you do see it, it's kind of special.
Yeah.
That's what I have to say.
You know what else is pretty special?
What?
I'm going to just put a picture up, and I want your thoughts. Now, what I'm showing Alex is, I believe that's Zach Werenski and Cam Atkinson, and they are wearing shirts that say Torts 2020. I think there would not be anything more I want in life than John Tortorella to be the President of the United States. Could you imagine the press conferences?
Half the press conferences, he would be walking off the stage. What are you talking about?
Guys, I don't care about oil prices and the economy. I'm trying to get my star players to play, and I can't do it. God damn it, Brooksy, turn your phone off. Like, the House Speaker would be like, have their hands full of sports. It'd be fantastic. Oh, God. You love to see that they like torts, by the way. It's kind of like the whole Phil Kessel fun guy thing.
Yeah, except, like, it's John Tortorella.
Do
you know, before we move on.
Yes.
Do you know what, I feel like we should do this once a week at least. Do you know what the Detroit Red Wings goal differential is? Don't look.
137.
Close, 122.
Oh, rats.
And just in case you were thinking it was plus, it is most definitely negative 122.
Yes.
Just want to be clear.
Alex, don't worry. I had no second last thing of the Power Hour that I saw today and I thought would be fun to mention. Rob Gronkowski. Gronk. Former Patriots tight end?
That is correct.
Hey, I know football. Is apparently finalizing a deal to join the WWE. Now, of course, I didn't know this, that apparently a few years ago, they had something on WrestleMania where Gronk actually got in the ring and did stuff, which I was amazed to find out.
Yeah, but, like, they do that sometimes. Like, they bring random people in depending on the city they're in, or if it's, like, a big event.
Man, you look at the WWE back, like, it's hard to believe The Rock was a wrestler. Because
yeah,
he's The Rock.
Yeah. Like, that guy started out wrestling?
I think he did college football, then he was a wrestler, and then, like, he did, like, the Scorpion King, and then everything took off from there. But he was a wrestler first.
I know.
Which is insane to think. And, like, you look at other athletes that have come out of there. Like, it's weird to think, you have, like, Brock Lesnar.
Well, did he start in WWE or did he start in UFC?
He was the same as The Rock. He was a failed football player. He barely, like, he I think he got a camp with the Vikings and he didn't work out. Then he went to WWE, and then from there, UFC.
And then back to WWE, and then back to UFC, and then back to WWE, and back to UFC, and back to WWE.
Does he have? He's supposed to fight John Jones eventually, isn't he? If only John
Jones, no,
not stay suspended or whatever.
No, he's not fighting John Jones.
No,
I don't think he's going back to UFC.
The money.
He's had way too many. He's had way. It seems like there's so many issues. Got suspended. It just seems like, bro.
We're talking about UFC lately.
Yeah, I know. It's because I started watching UFC. You know how, like, you're on your Pokemon stage, right? So we're eventually gonna get. No, but think about it. We had the whole like month of Star Wars.
Yeah, which will be coming back. Don't worry.
Good. Then we started Pokemon. Now I'm taking over with the UFC, and then we're probably going to go back to Pokemon or whatever.
First of all, it's pronounced Pokemon.
I don't care. It's Pokemon.
It's because they've remade one of the old Mystery Dungeon games, which were classics when I was a child. I was talking to Will Christophilus about this, and Will Christophilus is a cool dude. So if he is a fan of Pokemon, then I'm all right to admit that I am still playing. Buddy, like, a lot of people still play Pokemon.
I've never said playing Pokemon was bad. You're making it out to seem like it's bad. I'm just telling you what the reality is here.
It's just like, I'm bringing up, like, all right, let's look at Star Wars. Wizards with laser swords.
There's nothing wrong with Star Wars.
Fire Dragon Pokemon, and then Alex is like, the combat sports. Sweaty men.
That's not... Okay, I wasn't saying that at all. But...
Alex.
Yeah.
Read of the bye week.
Okay. This is from John Vogel, The Athletic.
Uh-huh.
Did you know Ralph Krueger was a member of the, where is it? The World Economic Forum?
No.
Okay. Well, he is. So this is from John Vogel. As global markets sound alarms, Ralph Krueger forecast paradigm shift in society.
Okay. Is this Alex? Is it? What's it? What is? I don't know what that means.
What do you mean? Well, read it and you'll find out.
Oh. Thank you, Alex. Well, mine. I'm a man who admits he's wrong. So mine from the Athletics, Thomas Drance. How Tyler Toffoli has fit in seamlessly in Vancouver through his first 10 games.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I hate the Canucks so much.
You hate the Canucks. I don't like the Oilers.
Yeah. 10 points in 10 games. But, hey, if they miss the playoffs, I'm going to be right. But what are we going to do about it? Of course, we do not have a quiz because we're over Skype today.
You know Brock Besser's back, right?
Is he?
Yeah, he just got activated off the IR.
I thought he was supposed to be out like another month. More.
Well, listen, man. It says here he was activated. I'm not sure when he's going to play, but continue. I'll find out.
All right. Well, that's pretty awesome for them. Dang it. They got him back at the worst. All right. So do we want to talk about the Habs, Leafs, or the coronavirus?
Coronavirus.
All right. So, Alex, as we mentioned earlier, the world, world science people or whatever.
The World Health Organization?
Yes, the people who think they know everything.
And the Center for Disease. I don't know.
May I say, I do believe these people, and I believe in viruses and that, but I'm trying to do it right here. People
the Center for Disease Control and Prevention.
Dang it. Well, they're not doing a good job of preventing it, are they? They're trying. And part of their trying is, so a little article here from CBC. The California county where the San Jose Sharks home arena is located is prohibiting all large gatherings of more than 1,000 people due to raising rates of the coronavirus. The illness caused by they give the official code, but I'm not going to say it because that code is dumb. The ban will take effect at midnight Pacific time, that is, of course, today, and will remain in place for 3 weeks according to the County of Santa Clara Public Health Department. It will mostly likely affect the NHL games at the SAP Center against the Montreal Canadiens. the Boston Bruins, and of course the Arizona Coyotes. Side note, Alex, the Habs haven't won in San Jose since the year I was born, so this sucks because we want the Habs to lose to get Alexis Lafreniere. Now there have been some options thrown around, but it looks like the course of action that will most likely happen is the Sharks will be the first team to play, or the first NHL team to start playing games in empty arena.
Yeah, this isn't the first time around the world. I believe today in France, PSG is facing off in the Champions League against Dortmund, and they are playing in an empty arena. The match between Arsenal and Manchester City that I believe was happening today has been postponed. All soccer in Italy has been postponed.
Which is insane.
Yeah. Well, Italy's like pretty much in lockdown mode. Like it's restricted for like they say, you know what? The only time you need to leave your house is to go to work and to and for
toilet paper
or family emergency. You want to know about toilet paper? So my mom went to 2 Costco's Monday and couldn't find toilet paper.
See, if people just wash their hands normally, you don't have to be dickheads and go buy all the toilet paper. See, you know what I do on purpose, Alex? Whenever my family buys toilet paper, I take all of it, so they have to come get it from me. It's just my little thing. Like, if I'm looking towards all my Hab stuff, and I just see, like, I don't know if you can see it, there's just a bunch of toilet paper.
Why?
Why? It's just me being me. There's no real reason, but some other stuff. The Dell, that's one of the European leagues.
The German league.
German league. They're European, why not? The Germany, okay, thank you. They've just canceled their playoffs, just period. Just not happening. Just not happening at all. It's that bad that they're just saying, the championship that we're all fighting for, no, this is just too serious. This is not going to happen. Switzerland, this is also from 31 Thoughts, Elliot Freeman, friend of the show, liked my shoes, recognized you, Alex. Switzerland are making a decision on their league this Friday.
And Austria also canceled their season.
And Austria, Jesus Christ. Oh, I think I saw some Sven Andrighetto was playing over there. Of course, the governor, I think it was the governor of Ohio, also said that they're recommending it too, but the Blue Jackets came out today and said, at least for right now, hey, we're going to keep everything fine. Tickets are open, people. So they were concerned, but I don't think the coronavirus has the balls to mess with John Tortorella. Like, I dare you. Would you?
I don't know if that's how science works, but okay.
Hey, listen, if I'm a disease and I see John Tortorella in front of me, I'm thinking, nah, fam, not about that life.
Okay.
Side thing about that, you think Tortorella's happy about everything becoming a press conference and not a scrum? You think he's happy about that? Because there's room.
No, because the thing for him is I think he just doesn't want people asking stupid questions, and they can still ask stupid questions in press conferences.
But at least now he's not surrounded by people. At least now he has more room.
Sure.
To angrily leave.
Can we talk about the press con? I know we brought it up last time, but can we talk about the press conferences for a second?
Why not?
Okay, so last episode on Sunday, I guess it had just been announced maybe a couple days before that they're not going to do any more locker room scrums with the players and coaches.
Yeah, all 4 big sports leagues have now said, no one's going to be in locker rooms anymore.
And there's no more, and there's just going to be press conferences. Sorry, and I've just seen a lot of people complain about it.
Yes.
And I feel like people in the media are building a narrative that this is what's going to happen even after the disease is contained, yet no one in any of the leagues have said this at all. I don't know if you get the same feeling, but I feel like they're just building up a narrative that hasn't even, no one said a single word about. I'm perfectly fine with them saying right now there's no need to, you know what, let's try to contain it as much as possible. Let's you know what? You don't need to go right up to the players. That's perfectly fine now. It seems like it's spreading a lot. So it needs to be contained. Do you need to stand right next to John Tortorella for the next month? Maybe not.
No.
But I understand it's very important to have the locker room access. I think it's important too. But I have an issue with them creating a narrative that hasn't even been talked about by teams, by leagues, by anybody. They've just built this narrative that this is what's going to happen, or the team. Like, it just seems like they're creating a fuss over something that hasn't been mentioned by anyone else other than them. That's just my opinion.
I think you're right there. You are. Just two things I quickly saw before. I'm not going to try and pull your weight here. Apparently, the Warriors, according to this from Mark Stein on Twitter, the Warriors League sources say will be directed to play host to the Nets on Thursday night at Chase Center in a game closed to fans. Also, Jared Bettner, Nathan McKinnon, that 1 to 2 weeks. God damn it, my soul has just been shattered. But,
yeah, the Warriors were asked to not play to fans last night or 2 nights ago against the Clippers, and they declined. But I guess kind of pushing towards that idea.
I wonder if it's the same thing with the Blue Jackets, that they're going to try and keep bringing people in, try and get that gate revenue for as long as possible. But then once it becomes something like Thanos, inevitable. That was such a dated reference. I'm so sorry, but
I just looked off to I just looked off to a camera that's not there. I'm watching way too much of The Office.
And like talking about revenue and that, Elliot Freeman says again on 31 Thoughts that cap concerns of all this has become a real issue. And I believe it was yesterday the league actually had a conference call talking about us, and then comparing it to the 13-14 lockout negotiation with the PA about the cap and all that. It is a serious issue, which Alex, it feels like a few days ago it felt like it was a possibility, but now it's becoming a very, very real concern, and I am scared, Alex. I really am.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, and I think what NHL teams would prefer is if they took it on a day-to-day basis, because that means, okay, we either bring people in or we don't. But I think the most important thing is I think they really need to contain this virus, and if that means not having fans in for a certain period of time, I think that's better than taking it on a day-to-day basis.
I would agree. Also, more and more teams around the league are grounding their scouts. I think the Leafs were the newest ones to do that.
And the Canadians.
And the Canadians? Really? Oh, how the frick did I miss that? Okay, that is a problem. That is a big issue. And with such an important draft coming for so many teams, with already, you could get some good players in the later rounds this year, it's just becoming...
Yeah. Don't you think most it's March 11th, right? Mm-hmm. Don't you think they've been scouting? They've probably been scouting most of these players before this year. Like, how long have we been talking about? I feel like Alexis Lafreniere has been talked about for a couple of years at this point. Yeah. So I understand, that's 3 months. The draft is in June, but most of your scouting has been done. I think use.
But with them, they always want that final look, especially when it comes playoff times and all that. But I mean, yes,
most leagues aren't having playoffs, so
which is even. It is I would say, a legitimate. Yeah, you're right. A good organization should have everything they need ready by now. They really should.
Right.
Plus, how people are going to Italy to watch hockey.
Well, I don't think it's Italy. I think for them it's like, okay, going to Russia or going to Sweden or whatever the European leagues, the big leagues that players go to, right? This virus is an issue everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. Like this morning, Coachella, or maybe last night, Coachella postponed.
October.
They postponed Coachella to October, and then you were telling me before we started, they canceled E3,
which is I'm sad about that. I want a release date for Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga.
I honestly, I might buy that game.
Oh, it's gonna be
I'm
great.
not even gonna lie.
Every movie, all 9 of them, all 9.
Did you play the one with all 6 of them?
What, the original Saga? Man, damn right, I love that game.
Good.
Playing it a few weeks ago.
Just making sure.
Man, it's a fantastic series of games.
But before we move on from the coronavirus, I want, because we kind of moved on, I want to know what you think about the whole narrative that, or if you agree with me at all, about the narrative that's being created.
With the well, the only people I see having an issue with it are reporters, and it's not even all of them. Like a beat reporter like Eric Engels doesn't have a problem with it. So why should they? Well, I think Andrew Berkshire had a really good tweet that this should push you to like try something different, and it should better you as a reporter, right?
Right. Like I was listening to Leaf Hour yesterday, and they were talking about it. I've seen other people talk about it. Maybe in the smaller markets, I think I've seen people talk about it too. But it's like they're creating for me, it's like I haven't heard a single thing about them saying this is what we're going to do moving forward, except from the people complaining about this might happen, which no one has ever said.
Maybe it's because, of course, it's been noted that players absolutely hate those scrums. The one that always stands out to me is, I think it was after the death of Patrick Kane's grandfather, and there was a scrum with him after the game or before it, and he was in absolute tears.
Right.
Do we need that? No, we don't.
No.
So it's really not necessary. It really is.
Listen, man.
Oh, go ahead.
They don't really do this in Europe.
No.
Like, I'm not sure about hockey, but I know for the most part, scrums like the way it is here don't really happen in soccer.
I don't know about you, but I actually really like the look of a press conference, like the more formal one, like the playoff ones where you have them on like the long tables, all of them, and you got like Ryan O'Reilly there with the Conn Smythe, and like I really like the look of it. I really do.
Yeah.
And again,
no,
filthy boys covered in sweat.
I understand why it's important. And I understand why doing the locker room scrums are important, right? Like I've read about it. Mm-hmm. I don't have an issue with them taking that away for maybe let's just say the rest of the season to be safe. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with them creating a narrative that they're going to do this moving forward.
Would you have an issue if they did, though? If they just said from now on, no. I think like a nice little, if I was the league, I would say something like, maybe from now on you can only do scrums at practice. And then after pregame and all that kind of stuff, that's the only time. And then you make that formal press conference.
I don't want to say I'd have a problem with it because I've never had to deal with a situation like that. Going in and do it right. Do they have a point as to why they should do it? For sure. That's why, to me, I don't know. I'm going based off of what I'm reading from the reporters who are in there, right? Like CJ's in there every day, after every game, right? So I understand, like, you're pulling things out of these players, and yeah, I think it's important, but I don't know enough to say would I be upset. I'm not sure. Like, I don't know what's going to be the effect of it afterwards for the articles.
If there's one team that you think is going to, if it does say that from now on the total scrums are gone, I think there's going to be one organization or one member of an organization that is going to be one of the main reasons it happens, and that's going to be Lou Lamoriello.
You think so?
If a guy like him, or let's say a Don Sweeney, one of those more influential guys, if there's somebody who at the end of this are saying, we got to can this, I think that they will go to, from now on, we're just going to get rid of the scrums. I think it just depends on what the bigger guys say. By the way, a quick quote I just saw from Riley Smith, this former Panther, about possibly playing in empty arenas. He said, what all of us were thinking, he said, quote, I played a few years in Florida, so I'm kind of used to it. Was it Barkov who was it the award show?
Yes.
He made fun of the fans. What did he say? Yeah. I'm going to try and find it.
I don't remember what he said, but it was quite funny.
Oh, he said like there are more Panthers fans here than there are at our games, or something like that.
Oh my!
Man,
God,
I love Finns. They have the best sense of humor.
Yeah, they are quite interesting characters.
All right. Well, we got the Leafs, we got the Habs. Where are we going, Alex?
You can go first.
All right. Well, they're continuing to do what I want them to, and they're losing.
Which is what? Lose?
They're losing. They lost last night to the Nashville Predators 4-2. I want to say congratulations to Lucas Vejdemo, who got his first career goal last night. Attaboy, Lucas. And then was immediately shut down.
I was going to ask. I saw he scored a goal because I think you retweeted something, and then the next thing I saw was him being sent down.
I believe he was called up on an emergency basis to begin with. I think it's due with if Jonathan Drouin is back, who I didn't even realize was hurt again, but what are you going to do about it? But no, I mean, he's more needed in Laval than he is in Montreal, than he is in with the big club, so... Also, congratulations to Noah Juulsen, who is also back today. He will be playing tonight against the Belleville Senators. That's a guy who has had some health issues regarding headaches and that. So it's really, really nice to see that guy come back, because before all these injury problems, he was playing on Montreal's right side, and he was looking good.
Do you think he if all things go well, do you think he plays for the Canadiens next year?
It's going to be a fight between him and Cale Fleury for that third spot on the right.
Really or you trade Jeff Petrie.
You trade Jeff Petrie.
Just saying.
I mean, God, I hate Marc Bergevin. I really do. When I think of Marc Bergevin, I imagine this picture that I'm showing you, Alex. It is a bulldog that I saw on Twitter. His name is Tonka, and he is adorable.
Tonka. That's nice.
I love bulldogs. And also, Charlie Lindgren may be hurt. He took a Kulak shot at practice and looked like a phone. And Brett Kulak can shoot the puck pretty hard. So, I mean, honestly, Alex, there's nothing else. Just nothing else has changed in this team. Thomas Tatar will apparently be out indefinitely, which is...
Why?
It just feels like you're getting kicked in the dick with this team.
You know what this team... It reminds me of, and we were having this discussion before. I don't mean in skill wise. I just mean like the conversations that we've had recently reminds me of pre 2016 for the Leafs. Whereas like, man, they just were so bad. And like, what else do you want me to say? Like, we could literally have a discussion every week on what Marc Bergevin can do, but like nothing changes because he's not going to do what we say. That was the kind of here in Toronto, like, man, like we know what the end goal is, but the team is just so bleeping bad.
Yeah, it's it's just at the point of the season where you just want it to end. Like reporters, anytime they get to talk to him, it's all about the summer, the draft, and I just. It's just taxing to watch this team, and that's the last thing you want. It's just, the season's over with. You know it's just the Panthers and the Leafs by now. And I like, what is there more to say? I mean, it's now going to be the only good news that I can feel around this team now is so Keandre Miller looks like he's going to be playing for the Hartford Wolfpack. That is, of course, the Rangers AHL team, and they of course drafted him in the first round a few years ago. And the reason that's important is because Keandre Miller is one of Cole Caulfield's teammates at Wisconsin U, or is it Wisconsin? One of them, anyway. And that, I think, is a good thing because maybe that will push him to come to Laval. And I think if Alex Turcotte decides to go to the Kings or Rochester. No, sorry, not Rochester. The Ontario Reign, I think.
Yes.
And maybe that will be... Because he should in no way, shape, or form play in the NHL. Maybe you give him, like, the last home game. Or do what they did with Primo and Lindgren. So not Primo and Lindgren. Lindgren and Ryan Poehling. Just be like, hey, fans, and then you just let them just play all the seasoning in Laval. Maybe I'm saying that because I really want to see him in the last game of the season, but I mean, again, we won't know probably. I think they said it was either the end of this week or next week. We're going to find out what's going on with Cole Caulfield, but
then we'll have something to talk about.
Yeah, because there is literally nothing else. And at the end of the day, I would prefer him in Laval than in college, especially if all his good teammates are leaving.
Right.
Just him, and that's it on Wisconsin. Because, again, they had Miller, Turcotte, and Caulfield, and that team wasn't good enough to make it.
Yeah.
So that says enough about that.
Doesn't look good to it.
It does not. But the Leafs, there's a few things here, and all I see is... let's just get the nice thing out the way. Jeremy Bracco's been gone since February 1st for personal reasons. He is back with the Marlies, though. Good news. Per 31 Thoughts, Ellie Friedman.
Yeah, and I wonder... I hate speculating about this, like what was going on, because I think he left February 1st, and that was kind of just after the whole trade, like he wanted to be traded, and he was on the trade block came out. So I think everyone assumed it was about that. But now it's March 11th? Today is March 11th. So you think maybe there was more to it than just simply he wanted to be traded?
Yes.
But I'm happy he's back. Like, other than him being a trade chip, which I don't like making players just trade chips, like he's a good AHL player right now.
Yes, he's one of the best passers probably in the American Hockey League.
And if he's on any other team, most other teams, I think he gets a shot in the NHL. Like the thing with the Leafs is look at their right side it's Marner, Nylander, Kapanen, and whoever the hell you want, or Clifford, I guess now. And you can't really put Bracco on the fourth line because who the hell is he going to pass it to? Frederic Gauthier, right? Like it doesn't work on the team. Like it's the same thing with Dennis Mulligan right now. Everyone's talking about Dennis Mulligan, and you can't put him on the fourth line because he has like the hockey IQ somewhat there, but you're playing with Frederic Gauthier and Jason Spezza, and yes, Jason Spezza has done well this season, but this isn't Jason Spezza of 10 years ago.
No.
So I can see why it's frustrating for him because he hasn't gotten the chance in the AHL. And I would have liked to see him up this year, right? Like you look at all the injuries, Johnson out, Mikheyev out, Marner was out for a time, Tavares was out for a time. That probably says something. I don't exactly know what that says. I wouldn't be surprised if he's moved in the summer, and he'll probably get more of a chance in this for his new team.
I tried to make like some sort of case. It was not a good one of Joe Thornton working on the Leafs power play. But now that I'm being reminded of that Jeremy Bracco, a younger guy who was probably if he was going to be put in any sort of situation, it would try and probably be on a power play quarterback type of situation. And yeah, if Jumbo wasn't going to make sense of course, he wasn't because they weren't even going to give Jeremy Bracco one. So it's quite silly. So before we go into Tampa in that game, because I feel like that's going to be the little crown jewel of today's episode. I've been hearing a lot about Mikhail Abramov, and I don't know much about him. So please enlighten me.
He was drafted last year, fourth round pick, 115th overall. His stats last year, he plays for the Victoriaville Tigers. He played in Russia before that for CSK Moscow for their junior teams. Last year, he had 62 games played, 16 goals, and 54 points. This year, he has, in 63 games played right now, 35 goals and 76 points.
Do you know who else played for the Victoriaville Tigers?
Was it Jonathan Drouin?
No, he played for the Mooseheads.
Halifax, yeah.
McKinnon and Ehlers. No, Santiago McTaggart.
Oh my goodness. The legend.
Santiago McTaggart. But no, it looks like a
Do you know who had the next leader in points on that team?
I don't know enough about Victoriaville. Who?
Okay.
Points,
in 62 games, 41 points.
Jesus. Victoriaville Tiger. Yeah. Is he a name? Wow. So there is just nobody.
Jerome Gravel. That's his name.
No.
No idea.
No, not at all. Oh, and I guess Abramov just signed because I see on the thing. Mikhail Abramov s'entend avec le Maple Leafs.
Yeah, that's why everyone's talking about him.
Okay, he looks so young. That's the thing of Russians.
He is young.
They look 12 until they look 40. With Russians, it's nothing between.
He's 18, man.
Also,
that's why he looks young.
Man,
he's a 2001 baby.
Hey, Abramov, Robertson. There are some people there in the system. By the way, if Jeremy Bracco can do anything, he might. I know there's not a lot of games left and there are some points in between, but maybe that can help the Marlies on the late run. But hey, forget about the Marlies and a possible playoff push. The Leafs are in a race right now to stay ahead of the Florida Panthers. And I think the least surprising thing happened last night, that after a rough spell against bottom feeder teams, the Toronto Maple Leafs came out and had a great showing against one of the best teams in the league, pulled out 2 big points. And Freddie
Can I just clear things up?
On the notes on the doc, it's just Alex putting, let me clear some things up about this team.
I want to make it clear how much I love this team. No, wait. I've talked about this before, right? Like, I've said it before. Because I feel like I've just been completely trashing the team. Which is fair. Hey, listen, they 10,000% deserve it. They lost to an emergency backup goalie.
Who works at their school.
Works at our school. But at the end of the day, like, they're still right. Like, okay, let me bring it back to Montreal for a second.
Mm-hmm.
The Montreal Canadiens are awful right now, right?
Yeah.
But they're not playing well. But you still love the team.
Yes. Yeah. Somehow.
Deep down, you love the team.
I'm not even deep down. I love this team with my life. I want nothing more than for them to succeed.
So I'm just throwing a hypothetical situation out here. I'm not saying this is going to happen and probably won't happen this year. But if the Leafs win the cup this year, hypothetical, there's no way I'm the guy jumping on the bandwagon.
No.
Okay? I just want to be clear.
Every now and then you're taking a sip out of your Leafs water bottle of your Austin Matthews jersey in the back and all this kind of stuff and da.
Listen, if you can tell me who Alexei Ponikarovsky is, you're a Leafs fan. Okay?
Yeah.
I have Alexei Ponikarovsky picture over here. So I think I'm a Leafs fan. Now, I've given this team is so frustrating. So frustrating.
I can't remember the last time you smiled talking about this team on this show. Well, excuse my dog barking. Don't know what he's doing.
I don't even know the last time I smiled either about this team. Because you know what the thing is we went in, October, what was it? October 4th was their first game, I think. I'm like, man, this team's going to be great. They just got Tyson Barrie, Matthews, Nylander, and Marner are a year older. Marner's in here. He's not holding out. We still have John Tavares. And then that. And then literally whatever that was for the first, couple months. And then Sheldon Keefe comes in and is like, man, we got new energy in this. Music's playing. Lady Gaga, Justin Bieber's playing at practice. And, they're doing skills instead of back skating them every day. I don't know, whatever the hell they do at practice. I'm like, just new energy. And it just felt right. And then it's like, it's been the last, since All-Star break, it seems like this team has been so bloody inconsistent. And I don't know if they're consistently inconsistent or inconsistently consistent.
Okay, hold on. I think the consistently inconsistent is more. If anything's the Leafs' identity, it's consistently being inconsistent.
That's the issue.
Yeah, because buddy, I put on last night's game, and when I think it was what they had, they were shooting Tampa 12-2, 10-0 at one point. I was thinking, yeah, I'm not surprised. We all knew this was going to happen.
I put out a tweet after the California road trip, and it literally described the Leafs. It's so it's so frustrating to watch this team, knowing what the potential of this team is. Only if they gave a crap all the time. That's the issue I have, is that this team, and I feel like I say this every episode. I literally feel like I say this every episode, that the team doesn't always look like they care. It doesn't look like it's all about the details. And what?
Okay, Anthony.
So it's annoying to sit here and watch this team struggle when you know what they can do. I think it's difficult for me to come out and say that it's the player, it's the management, because sure, he hasn't made every single trade, has not been the best. The Tyson Barrie trade not necessarily worked out the best. I think the first couple months that I think I can blame Mike Babcock. He was playing him in a shutdown pair with Jake Muzzin. Tell me how, in what world that works.
Not in this one.
I think Sheldon Keefe has used him more sparingly, in that he's put him in more situations to succeed than to fail, yet he still failed. I know the team can perform. Last year, Game 5 against Boston, probably the best game I've seen that group of players play ever. This year, literally against Florida, the first two periods, spectacular. And then they crapped the bed in the third.
Then we left class.
We left class. The team puts up, it's sometimes they play, sometimes they don't. And it's just really frustrating to sit here and talk about it. And I'm going to bring it back to the Raptors, like I said I was going to earlier. You know what the Raptors are doing that works? They fight every single game. They look for the win every single game. No matter what. They won the NBA championship last year with Kawhi Leonard, Kyle Lowry, and Pascal Siakam, Marc Gasol. I can list all the players if you want me to, but I'm not. They lost arguably a top 3 player in the league in Kawhi Leonard.
Mm-hmm.
And what is their record right now? 46-18.
I'm waiting for you to tell me the overtime loss.
They don't have overtime losses because they're not stupid. They're 46-18. When they lost Kawhi, I was watching. Well, they had ESPN. They were showing whatever the shows on TSN, the Canadian equivalent. They were showing predictions, and the Raptors weren't even making the playoffs.
Which is, yeah.
If this team had the same mentality as the Raptors, in that every game you need to give a crap. You're telling me this team would look the same? The thing with this team is they've showed fans that, you know what, this is what we look like when we give a crap.
Mm-hmm.
And then they turn off the switch when they get comfortable.
Oh, yeah,
that's the issue.
Yeah.
They turn off the switch when they get comfortable. Before going into California, they were comfortable. I believe they are 5 points ahead of Florida. They turned off the switch. They played against two of the worst goalies in the NHL this year. Sure, they had good performances against the Leafs. But you you can't sit here and tell me that is a good enough excuse. You have John Tavares, you have William Nylander, you have Mitch Marner, and you have Austin Matthews. And you scored 2 goals against Anaheim and LA, and you scored 2 goals against San Jose. That's not good enough. It's just simply not good enough. I'm telling you right now, the team, if they just fought, not physically, like pushed for the win every single game, it would be devastating. Like it amazed me. And it's like night after night. I don't know what to expect. They play Nashville tomorrow night and they play Boston Saturday. I honestly can tell you right now, I have no idea what to expect. If they crap the bed, I'm not surprised. If they play well, I'm not surprised. Because this team has been so inconsistent for so long. Like, the thing is, it's not just been an issue this year, right? Like, we've had this discussion last year. We've had this after the first playoff series against Washington. This has been an issue. And it's just extremely frustrating. Like, I hate moving the goalposts, and I'm not going to move the goalposts because I saw so many people move the goalposts for this team. I believe it was against LA when they had a good defensive performance. Man, Mitch Marner makes almost $11 million. Austin Matthews makes just over 11 and a half. John Tavares makes $11 million. Great. What are half of them paid to do? Offense. Why is Austin Matthews paid $11.5 million to score goals? Why is Mitch Marner paid 10.89 whatever million dollars?
Makes sick feeds.
When you're paid that much, you have to do both. It can't be one or the other. It can't be one or the other. And if that's the case, you're moving the goalposts. Like, you can't have it both ways. You can't say, oh, you had a good defensive performance, but they didn't have a good offensive performance, but they really worked on their defense. That's not allowed. You have to have a good defensive performance. You have to have a good offensive performance. You're paid millions of dollars each year, and you can't just throw a performance like that whenever the hell you feel like it. That's my issue with this team. Is that okay? There's more than one issue with this team. it was the goaltending. The goaltending is getting better. The defense, I think the defense, like the actual defensemen, have been struggling simply because half of like Riley and Muzzin, who are essentially the backbones of your defense, have been out. Riley got back. Riley looked great last night. But that defense is going to be restructured in the summer. Now, your offense, your bottom six aren't performing anymore. That's kind of an issue. Like, you know, Alex Kerfoot looks invisible half the games. Kasperi Kapanen kind of works on your third line when he wants to play like a big boy. So there's that's the main issues. But the underlying issue of this team, I'm just going to wrap this up. The underlying issue of this team is that I don't think they're just mature. And I don't mean that in like the way that people normally talk about mature. I'm talking about when you're playing an NHL game, you can't take nights off. When was the last time you heard Patrice Bergeron took a night off?
That does not compute, that sentence.
When was the last time Steven Stamkos took a night off?
Does not compute.
Right. When he was injured. The best teams in this league, their star players rarely take nights off. Rarely. Maybe a couple times a year. I understand that players have off nights. Every single person has off nights. Not every episode of the podcast is perfect.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Right? Sometimes we're a little bit of a mess.
No.
But consistently being inconsistent when you're paid that amount of money, not okay. That's it. That's the issue.
That's the tweet.
That's the biggest issue.
Well, Alex, that's perfect timing because I think my family just got home because my dog is now sitting at the... No, she just jumped off the bed. Anything else to say?
No.
Twitter looks fine. Didn't see it. Apparently the coronavirus conference got canceled because of the coronavirus. Good job, Tex, there.
That's smart.
But anyway, God, what do we... Alex, how about let's figure out the name of the podcast to end the podcast.
That never goes well.
How about canceled?
Okay.
Everything's getting canceled. There you go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this episode of the podcast, you should, wherever you're listening to it, if you can like, some sort of share, follow, subscribe, you should do that. Go check out the show's Instagram and YouTube page, as well as myself and Alex's social medias, and Daniel's. Go and tweet him a congratulations for getting the summer internship at TSN. What does TSN stand for, Alex? Pop quiz.
The Sports Network.
Know what, Alex?
You don't even know.
I don't, actually.
Oh, my. You want to throw a pop quiz my way. You thought I was going to be wrong.
It's a simple yet effective name.
I know.
What does Sportsnet stand for? Sportsnet.
Sportsnet.
The home of hockey. All right, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you next time.